Hey there, YouTube. How are you today? I'm in the kitchen, as you can see, and I just made myself a bowl for an early dinner here. And just kind of on the spot, I said, why don't I share this one with you? People seem to like these little videos about simple, inexpensive plant-based meals. And budget is a concern for a lot of people out there, as it is for me. Um, last, I don't know, recently, last 6 months or so, I've started realizing like there's a lot of waste in my food, and there's a lot of little corners I could cut, and there's a lot of things that I might spend money on or have spent money on in the past that just really weren't super necessary. And they're like, it's like sometimes the base of my meal will be real cheap, and then I'll have something in a recipe, or I'll have something, one ingredient or one thing that I'm eating that's just very much more expensive. So I've really been trying to make an effort to get a little bit more budget conscious with my meals. And today I've got a bowl here, and I just realized as I was making this, I think I'm gonna get a big one of these little wooden bowls. I think I'm gonna get a bigger one because I think I could use just a little bit bigger one for the bowls. This is good for certain things that I eat, but well, it'll do. Now, what all do I have in here? Now, there's one thing I have in here as the base that you're not going to be able to see because it just got covered up. But I've got a nice base of steamed collard greens in there. Love me some collard greens. I grew up in the South. I'm from the South. We grew up eating lots of greens. Turnip greens, collard greens, and mustard greens. Although I will say I haven't eaten a whole lot of mustard greens in my life. I'll have to give them a try one of these days. So on top of this bed of collard greens, I've got my steamed sweet potato. I've got some broccoli I steamed in there as well. I've got some black beans. The black beans, I think I've mentioned it before. I've gotten to where I buy all my stuff. I buy my generally my legumes in bulk at a couple of stores. There's one in Pensacola. There's one here. And I can get them there, and it's just a lot cheaper when you just buy them and cook them. And people will ask me, no, I don't have an Instant Pot. I don't have any of that fancy stuff. What I'll do with my beans is I just soak them overnight, and then I cook them the next day. And they don't really take that long. I just put them on while I'm doing something else. Most of the black beans, if I've soaked them overnight, they don't take more than 45 minutes or so to cook, maybe an hour. And then I have some sauerkraut here. Haven't been having sauerkraut a whole lot lately, and I just went to the store a little bit earlier this afternoon and thought, let's get some of this. We need to get back to having a little bit of fermented food every day. Just a little bit too, because there's, even though it's kind of healthy, it's sauerkraut, it's fermented, there is sodium in there, and that's one of those things, like I kind of keep it at the serving size. I just keep it to like a couple of tablespoons, maybe a tablespoon, a fork, a little bit that I can get on my fork there. But if I were being realistic, and I'm not a person that likes to exaggerate, I hate when people are talking prices on things and they just exaggerate. I would say probably, and I'm being conservative, I'm actually probably making it a little bit more expensive than it is, but this is probably around $6 for all of this. Good nutrition, simple food, and not a recipe involved, so it's very easy. And I almost forgot one thing. Let me pull that out of the refrigerator real quick, that I have started keeping around again. I'm just going to put on top of this is I've got some marinated, I've got cucumber, onion, and tomato, and I'm just going to keep adding to this. In fact, I should have bought some cucumbers and tomatoes today. And when I say marinade, people like always are taking notes, like they want to know specifics. I don't know. I'd probably make it different, each time that I make it, or I don't make it exactly the same. A lot of times if I have a lemon around, I will squeeze a lemon in there. I'll put a little bit of apple cider vinegar in there. I'll put a splash or two of balsamic vinegar in there, and I'll put some black pepper in there, and I'll just shake it up, and but once it sits in the fridge for a little while and marinates and soaks it in there, this stuff is so good. And I'll just put this right on top of the bowl, kind of mix it and mash it all up and eat it just as it is. So anyhow, It does not have to be expensive. Just like I say, if you're all into the recipes, what's the recipe for this? What's the recipe for that? A recipe collector. A lot of times these recipes you see out there can be expensive, but just plain simple food, not so much. So anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you like me, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you here again in a couple of days. Peace.